Clarissa
Wild
Indians.
had ancestors who were Indian. And, you know, Aunt Annie was tall and dark.
Now, if your sister called me on Disney Head, I'm going to
refer back to you. You know that.
Well, sure, yeah. But there was.
Oh yeah, this is some of the.
Aunt Annie and who else? Seemed like there was
This is Manlith Meekers farm and thrashers and all, and they even put their own.
But sometimes stuff that's
The
back
Meekers,
in your ancestry
all the Meekers were more advanced, I think, than a lot of people. And Dad said that Manly Meeker even had a power plant in his home way before electricity come this area.
Really? Like
he had his own electricity.
I used to
and
go
this
down there.
is a scale on.
They even had a bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty uptown.
And they had a scale on their farm. They weighed their own grain before they took it to the elevators to make sure that the elevators didn't cheat him on the weight.
Sure
He had his own grain.
Make sure Jim
That's
didn't
pretty
cheat him.
cool.
Well, but this the elevator. Yeah, they had their own scale, and that's Manny Meeker there. See, there it says that's Burns fatal. Remember I was telling you he was burnt?
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's
He
right.
dropped his billfold and went back into the grass fire to get it, and it burned him up to his waist. And back then they couldn't do much, and he just
he moved
laid.
so slowly, his clothes got on fire,
Yeah.
and he couldn't get
And that's him as a young boy there. That's Manlith Meeker.
Right.
This is Kurt's brother.
Kurt's brother.
I don't know if the audio's on. I talk loud too. You have to.
You're
tell me.
good.
This is the Meeker School. They even named a school after Dr. Meeker, so they had a
Right.
Meeker School.
That's cool.
Now, you showed us where that was, just up here north of town.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they were married 55 years. She was a Kenny, but that was his wife. And there is let me see, that is their two daughters, Iola and Mildred. Iola didn't have any children, and Mildred was Dad's mother, and she had two, one girl and one boy.
Okay.
And they always see. Martha said she saw pictures of this little Craig running around as a kid. Well, that little Craig was me.
Oh, I see.
There I am with Manny and Molly and Craig. That was the brat. He was a brat. Well, Dad was the first boy to come along, and the other girl didn't have any children, and then I was the oldest boy. So back in those days, even back in the early days, I didn't go to 1900, but way back.
Yeah.
If you had a boy, that was something,
some good stuff, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that nowadays.
No, I know.
I've got all girls except for one boy, so now they beat me up.
I have
But
four
you know what?
daughters, and now 3 grandsons.
I have. That's what I said. And now that's Kenny's there. That's not Meekers. That's that's Molly Kenny, and I think that's Frank and John Kenny.
I bet it is.
Now you want a picture of. This is Clarissa Wildman. She died. Now the reason that our side, your dad and you and all ended up with some farm ground is she didn't die till 1917. Now see, remember Dr. Meeker died in 1897. She outlived him 20 years.
Yeah.
So
she was probably quite a bit younger than him, I bet, too.
Probably. Yeah. But her 7 children got it all. The first 3 children didn't even get a penny. So that's, instead of dividing it 10 ways, it was divided 7 ways.
Right.
So, and at one time, they said that Dr. Meeker owned 4,000 acres of ground in this area.
Wow.
At one time.
And I understand it was a lot of, she had the good business sense as well,
and,
right?
And she's older in the picture there.
I've read about it. I really think she had pretty nice brain.
And
he was sharp. From all this,
and here's the picture.
She probably kept the books and and did the as well as doing the pharmaceutical. Clarissa Wildman.
Okay.
In fact, here she is in here with some of the girls and stuff. See, and here's a family. Here's one of those. Now that's Nedra Joan. That's Dad's sister's daughter, and she's dead too now. She was 8 years older than I was. 8 years. But that's me on her lap there. I was kind of the brat there. But this is a family picture, and there's some of...
Wait, I've got this picture.
Yeah, John Kenny's family's in there, and some of your family might be in there.
This is my grandmother, Hallie.
Maddie?
Hallie. My grandmother, Hallie.
Hallie, okay.
Because I've got this picture right here on my computer. I'll show it to you in a minute.
Anyway, they say that little bratty kid, we can't remember Craig or Greg or Dave or C-R-A-I-G. It's Craig. Yeah, I'm in all the pictures, whether you wanted me there or not.
There you go.
I'm sorry.
Your grandma Chapman would have seen to it.
Yeah, I was going to say, she probably pushed you right in.
Yeah. And this is the Meeker home they built. Now, they built this new, Dad could tell you, I can't remember what, but... And they were doing well, so he went to Tuscola and bought an extra house and played the Board of Trade over there and didn't do too well and had to move back to the new farm. And they had tenants in there that about tore the new farm up. But that's a home in Tuscola. And then
what was that barn down there? Was that barn?
Let me see. I'm sorry. Let me see. Oh, that's a crib. It's all gone now, but they had a crib out there.
I was thinking about that before,
crib and cattle.
Before they've had all these
Now this was across. This was kind of diagonally where our ground still is up there.
Oh yeah, it's kind of all.
Well, this is the Meeker house, the corner of the Meeker house. Your ground is kind of on down another mile, isn't it, Dave?
Oh, is it? Okay.
John Meeker's was behind it. Theirs was on. Yours was about
off the
Dad's place.
Yeah.
That was Aunt Annie's.
That's Aunt Annie. And then there's a little bit north there.
We went on north, and that was Uncle Kurt.
Yeah. So from this place, your farm ground would have been about a
little
mile
further
north.
down. Okay, I got
1
you.
mile north.
I got you. That's not the one you lived in. I've got a picture of that one.
Yeah, I lived in it, Maxine.
No, I lived there till I was 6 years old in Uncle Kurt's place.
I've got a picture of that one.
And then this is just a bridge out there. They're all on the bridge when they were young, the young family. And
they were out and gone.
this is just a poem one of the girls wrote when he was burning on the bed. You know, it's just a little poem. Back then they didn't have televisions and radios, so they did a lot of Shakespeare and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't do too well with Shakespeare, but
that's interesting. Thank you for bringing that over.
And that one. Now let's see what's in this one. This one now is. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's
Go ahead.
okay.
You know,
I had to look at it upside down.
I apologize.
No, you're
Okay, now
we've got one like this.
This is Manny and Molly when they were married. Molly Kinney and Manliff Helton Meeker when they were married. That's him again, and that's her, and they were young. Okay, all right. Now, and that's him again.
There must have been a photographer in this area that did books because we've got one of Matt and Kurt out of the same kind of book, although it's fallen apart. But I've got some pictures of it here too.
And that's Mildred and Iola, sisters there when they were young. You know, they were young. Okay, and let me see what I got here. Okay, now Dad can help me. This is Pearlie Livengoods and his Pearlie and
Becky's.
Dad can tell me Pearlie and his name was Pearlie, and that was Becky Meeker's kids. What was her name, Dad? Pearlie? I can't think now. I could let you know. And I'm not sure who that baby is either, Dad. Fresno. Was it Fresno?
You ever looked on the back and see if it says
I've checked out some of them.
My mother was very good about labeling pictures.
Okay, and and I'm not sure who that one is. There's another one. Now these are the two. These are the Ballman sisters, Stella and Bertha died when she was like 18 years old or so, or 21. 21, Dad. Stella had no children, but she married Lester Smith was an auctioneer, and she did very well for herself marrying in. And in fact, Nelda Presno, Nelda, Pearlie and Nelda. That was it. Stella's husband Lester, his sisters married Cotton Ware, and that held the Wareco gas stations and all, and Cotton Ware. He was on the Olympic team and all. So, but anyway, that's part of Stella's family. That, I think, is the preacher that married him and his wife. And Dad might be able to tell you. I can't tell you.
I don't know.
That's the preacher that married Molly.
She certainly had an interesting hairstyle there, didn't she?
And this one, I don't know. See, they saved these pictures, and I don't know.
But they didn't say who they were.
No. And
that's very interesting, then.
That's a beautiful home there.
But
that house.
This is just an old album and stuff, and
now,
they
where
didn't
was
label.
This house?
But
north of.
But because he was a doctor, it was relative even today's time. He would end up with at the end of the week maybe with 5 or 6 chickens and a half a hog, and everybody else was working for 50 cents a day. So like today, the doctors make 3, 4, 5, 600,000 a year, and back then. He made good salary as a doctor. So I shouldn't say this because we're related, but his kids were kind of spoiled because they got about what they and his wife was younger, and so she made sure that all the kids. In fact, when your great
I went out there.
great grandfather left, they probably was crying and all upset when he, because I don't think he wanted to go to Texas because all his family was here.
Right. Yeah, no. Well, I'll show you. I'm gonna stop.